Narrative control. Hi YouTube, this is Kristen Moonrise. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming super new moon in Gemini on Monday, May 26th. I am an identity and empowerment coach for driven, self-led women who are ready to drop the old stories and create new realities for themselves. You can visit my website below where you can work with me directly, and you'll find my course From Single to Married in Months, all linked in the description box. So when you do your inner work and you remove your old stories and projections, you realize that the narrative is a blank slate. Here's a chart for the super new moon in Gemini. Supermoons occur when the moon is closer to Earth in its orbit, appearing larger, although new moons are not visible. Monday, May 26, 10:02 p.m. Houston, Texas, Central Daylight Time. It'll be Memorial Day in the U.S. And so the sun and moon are conjunct at 6 degrees and 5 minutes of Gemini in the 6th house of service and health. And Saturn has now entered into Aries. It's here in the 4th house of the home. So Saturn will be in Aries until September 1st, where it retrogrades back into Pisces, then back into Aries on February 14th of next year, 2026, and then we'll enter Taurus on April 13th, 2028. So we've got heavy Aries in Saturn and Aries energy here. There's an analyst that I enjoy watching who analyzes geopolitical power and control dynamics. It's interesting when looking at identity on levels beyond the individual, such as nations and leaders, because we can see the dynamics play out in a more exaggerated way. So he built a scoring system that identifies and ranks what real power and influence is. And so one of the points of the scoring system is narrative control. Can you define reality for others? But taking it back to the individual, can you define reality for yourself? Everything you speak and do and agree with is an affirmation of something, conscious or not. Gemini is an air sign, so what you speak, the universe hears and manifests what you continuously say, think, and believe. If someone asks you an intrusive question about your household or relationship with your spouse and you give them a long, detailed answer about your personal life, you're setting the narrative that you are an open book and anyone can get information out of you. However, if asked the same question and you gave a non-committal yet firm and dry response, the narrative you're setting is that you're a united front with your partner or spouse, and that there's no weak link anyone can penetrate. And even on dates, your attitude, expectations, and standards of yourself and who you decide to date sets narratives. Take, for instance, you go on a date, perhaps the first or second date, and you tell your date about how awful your ex or parents were. Now the narrative is about your wounds and trust issues, not about how solid of a choice you are. So it's about being intentional, and that's a daily practice and reinforcement. And of course, people can set narratives that are false and negative to sway opinion, and that is power and influence, but it's not sustainable. You're building cracks in the foundation. Ethics and being in good standing is sustainable and is normalized in your speech and actions. Your future self comes to life when you mold and shape who you are today. You have a 24/7 magic wand in your hand that creates narratives. Speak about what's important to you using language that shows that it is important to you, and don't diminish those things or people. Always speak of yourself with respect and know that every act compounds. Saturn in Aries brings discipline and solid identity, grounding of your goals and manifestations. It's never a bad time to recite affirmations, but this is a great time for I am and I will affirmations. This is all about identity affirmations, which I guess they all are, but really strong ones. This is a perfect time to do those. Create the day, life, and reality that you want to have. You set the narrative. So show up in integrity, be intentional, Don't over-explain or overshare, which starts to kind of send a wobbly energy that you're kind of not in control of the narrative. And you have nothing to prove because you are setting the tone. Some may say that you're caring too much about what other people think. You can't control how other people think, but we are constantly setting narratives with our appearance, speech, behaviors, and etc. People do react differently when you show up differently. So you might as well control that. Set yourself up to win inside and out by narrative control. I hope that you enjoyed this video on the super new moon in Gemini, Monday, May 26th. You can find my course From Single to Married in Months, linked in the description box. And in the course, you'll have info on how to work with me directly one-on-one regarding your specific dating for marriage journey. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.